Hey, it's Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $5,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 74-year-old female. Now, first thing I recommend is go directly to our website at funeralfunds.com. Select the state that you live in. We're licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount, put your birthday in here, do the rest of the info. Click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to show you the best insurance companies with the best rates based off your age, gender, and the state that you live in. And that will help you make better purchasing decisions. And you can, because you're going to see all the options there. And then you can call us at 888-862-9456. And one of our agents can help you understand what program is going to be best and your eligibility and all that other stuff. Now, one of the first things we recommend for when a 74-year-old female comes to us wanting $5,000 worth of insurance is we say, hey, is that $5,000 even going to be appropriate for your final expense needs? Now, for final expense, we're typically talking either cremation or burial. So let's talk about that cremation. There's two options with the cremation. You can get cremated and come home in a cardboard box or an urn, or you can get cremated and have some sort of a service as well. When you come home in that cardboard box or an urn, that's really going to be probably between $1,000 to $2,000. If you're going to have some sort of service or ceremony, remembrance of life, celebration of life ceremony, that's probably going to be $3,500 to $4,500, depending what part of the country you're in. But as far as insurance, for that cremation where you come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would typically recommend getting around $5,000 to $7,000 worth of insurance. That's what most people get anyway. And some of you might be going, well, Randy, you said cremation is going to be $2,000 and you're recommending $5,000 worth of insurance. What's the deal there? Well, that's what most people get. And the reason is because you're age 74, right? 74-year-old female. And our 74-year-old female probably wants to make it to age 84, maybe even longer. And we just know that as time goes on, things go up in price due to inflation. And we just want to make sure that we get enough extra coverage in that right now, locked in at your your youngest age, which is right now. And then that just inflation proofs your plan. So you're not going to have to worry about getting more insurance coverage later, or, your family not having enough money for what you had intended. And what that also does is it provides a little extra money in the short term. God forbid you die in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is. There's extra money left over in case there's some other expenses, like maybe, medical bills or credit card debt that if you had lived long enough, you would have paid that stuff off. So it's really great. Protects long-term against inflation, short-term, just in case there's any other expenses that need to be paid. And if you're looking at getting that cremation with the service, most people would get $7,000 to $10,000, somewhere in there. And you can be flexible. You'll know your needs better than anybody, but we can also help you understand what might be most appropriate. But again, get the higher amount that's going to kind of inflation-proof your plan, and then it's going to provide some extra funds in the short term as well. Now, for a burial, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right around $10,000. It's not going to be anything fancy, guarantee you that. But it's hard to imagine that you'd walk into a funeral home with a $10,000 check and they wouldn't do anything. They'd say we can't get it done. If that were the case, walk out the door, walk 2 blocks down the road to one of their competitors, and they should be able to take care of that. Just understand that if you get $10,000, that's kind of the cost that it is right now. Certainly not going to be inflation proofed, and it's not going to be anything fancy. But if you're on a fixed or limited income and that's all you can afford, yeah, go ahead and do that, because something's better than nothing. And that does take care of your most immediate needs. But most 74-year-old females we're helping would probably get somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000, maybe $20,000 if there were some special needs like transporting a body out of state or something like that. But we can help you understand your options there. But this video is about $5,000. Why would somebody get $5,000 if they're going to be buried? Well, obviously $5,000 is not enough if the average cost is $10,000. But a lot of people might have like a $5,000 or $7,000 or $10,000 policy from before that was enough when they got that policy, but they've been blessed to live long enough, and now that's not enough anymore, and they just want to get a little bit more coverage just to make sure their family and loved ones don't have to pay anything out of pocket. And we can certainly add that extra coverage. It works wonderfully doing that way. Now, sometimes people will say, well, I want to take care of my final expenses, but I also want to leave money behind for the kids. And they might say, what's 30, 40, 50,000? So let's say we get them the rates for 50,000 and they go, oof, That's more than we can afford because we're on Social Security or disability. So I guess, yeah, if we can't get it all, we're just not going to do anything at all. And we have to have a conversation with them and say, hey, you know what? You came in and you didn't want your loved ones to pay, have to pay for your final expenses. And then, getting the kids some extra bonus money would be just kind of a bonus, right? So what we always recommend is, if that's the case, make sure and get the final expense done first, burial, cremation, whatever that is, because we know you're going to die someday. And then we can always come back later and do a separate policy for the kids at some point in the future. And that works really terrific. Just gives you the flexibility. If money's not an issue and you can do it all together all at once, we can certainly help you out with that. Just most of the people we help are on fixed or limited income. So we'll work with uniquely one-on-one based off your own circumstances and situation. Now, one thing we always recommend getting is first day coverage or benefits. We do not recommend plans with 2-year waiting periods. We'll talk about those in a moment. But what first day coverage means is that hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write out that check for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever it is. It's going to be the best coverage. It's going to have the lowest pricing. Now, some people say, well, yeah, you're right, Randy. I do like that first day coverage, but I'm not in the best of health, and I know those first day coverage plans ask health questions, and I'm worried I might not qualify. To which we say, hey, that's our problem, not your problem, at least from an insurance standpoint. And the reason we say that is we work with enough different insurance companies that they all ask different health questions. They all have different underwriting. And right now, we're getting around 90 to 95% of the people we help, we're getting them approved for first day coverage or benefits. So we're terrific at what we do. Really, the only reason we wouldn't be able to get you first day coverage or benefits is if you just waited too long and you had some significant health issues, like maybe you had a terminal illness and you're going to pass away in the next 12 months, or maybe you had dementia, or you're on dialysis or in a hospital or a nursing home. If that were the case, we'd typically refer you out to a different insurance company. The other thing that seems to happen on a weekly basis is somebody will call us up and they'll say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week. They didn't have insurance and we don't have any money. And now the body's down at the funeral home and the funeral home director's not going to do anything till he gets a check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance real quick so we can get a check in our hand to pay the funeral home director. And we have to let them know that there's no insurance company out there that's going to qualify a dead person for a plan. You actually have to be alive to qualify for this insurance. And it's terribly sad that they lost a family member, but it's doubly sad that their family member didn't care enough to get this insurance to protect them beforehand. They knew they were going to die someday. They probably looked at this insurance before and never did anything about it. And then they just waited and waited and waited. And then just one day they just went and died. And now it's too late. And now their family's stuck with this bill. And they're probably going to have to put it on their credit card and pay 26% interest. And a lot of times that takes years and years to pay off. So what a terrible legacy to leave behind. You could have done everything else right in life, and this is the one thing you mess up, and this is how you be remembered. So don't be that person. This insurance is affordable. We can always help you start out small and add more coverage later. Now, one thing we don't recommend is a plan with 2-year waiting periods. Now, Colonial Penn, you're probably familiar with them. They advertise all the time on TV for their $9.95 plan. And just in case you didn't know this, their $9.95 plan is a 2-year waiting period plan. Yuck. And what that means is that if you die in the first 2 years of any health or medical reason, it's not going to pay out any insurance death benefit. So if you qualify for first day coverage, you never want to get 2-year waiting periods. You always want first day coverage. But, Colonial Penn, they're not the only 2-year waiting period company. There's other ones out there like Mutual of Omaha, they're United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber. Gosh, so many other companies that's all they offer is 2-year waiting periods. And some of these companies have done an amazing job of convincing the American public that if you're over age 50, the only thing you're going to qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, to which we always say, don't believe such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Now, our 74-year-old female probably just got done watching one of those Colonial Penn TV commercials. She's probably thinking, oh, baby, I got the better of Colonial Penn. I waited until age 74, and that TV commercial is so slickly produced. I would imagine I'm going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 for only $9.95. And then she calls Colonial Penn. And then she calls Colonial Penn and talks with one of their agents, or gets online and looks at their pricing like we're doing for you on Colonial Penn's website. And she sees that 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95, is only going to provide $802 worth of insurance. Now, $802 is not enough to even cover a minimal cremation in any part of the country we know. And even if it did, it wouldn't matter because it's got a 2-year waiting period, and it's not going to pay out in the first 2 years. And we know that 2 years from now, things are going to be even more expensive. So why would you ever get a plan just based off pricing alone when it's not going to, it's such minimal coverage? Now, there's some people out there that would say that companies that advertise these low teaser rates, right? The teaser rates to tease you to get your information, and they get your information just to enter you in their sales marketing funnel. And then they get you on the phone and they're happy to show you, the lowest price plan and how minimal the coverage is. And then what they'll do is say, that's not enough. Let's get you more insurance. And then they'll upsell you to more insurance that's much more profitable to them. Now, we would never say that Colonial Penn would ever do anything like that, but some people have opinions on that. And I guess you'll have to formulate your own opinion based on the fact that you're only going to get $802 for $9.95. Yikes, right? So let's take a look here. We want to get $5,000 worth of insurance. Let's see what that would be. So let's see, is that 5 units? 6 units? 6 units? Nope, we're not there. That's the problem with Colonial Penn. You can't just say I want 5,000. You got to goof around with their units, which is kind of just silliness. But that's as, we want at least 5,000. You can't get 5,000. So, you're going to have to get their units, which is $5,614 right there. And that's right around $70. But is that a good price? Tell you what, let's find out. Let's go look at first day coverage. So we got 5,000 right here. Female, age 74, get quote. Let's go back and look at this again. Oops. Okay, again, this is right around 56 for $70. And we look at right here, again, 5,000, female, age 74, $34. And this is level coverage. Level means first day coverage. So would you rather get your 5,000 for $34, or would you rather pay like $70 for a little more than 5,000, right? And this is pretty representative. Colonial Penn, typically we see them being right at, around, or near 200% more expensive than our first day coverage plans that we can help people get approved with. And think about this, that's $34.70. So it's about $35 more a month. So, if you go with Colonial Penn, you're going to overpay. You're going to overpay $35 every single month for the rest of your life. And you're going to get socked with the 2-year waiting period. So let's do the math on that. If we take $35 a month times 12 months, that you're going to end up overpaying right around $420 a year more. And if our 74-year-old female makes it to age 84, 10 years, you have overpaid right around $4,200 more by going with Colonial Penn on a $5,000 policy. You're overpaying almost the amount of coverage within 10 years. And that's if you just live 10 years. What if you live 20 years or 15 or something? It only gets worse as time goes on. So you should never settle for a 2-year waiting period if you qualify for first day coverage, right? Level coverage, pricing that's half, right? Right, almost half is Colonial Penn. So you just need to be a smart consumer. If you're not a smart consumer, let us help you. We love helping people like you, and we can help you get approved for these other plans that are such a better value. Let's look at some other companies here as we go through. Let's take a look. I mean, here's one like Lumico. They're only $5 more, right? You go, no big deal. This first day coverage, $5 more. Well, $5 times 12 is $60 a month. And if you live 10 years, that's going to be an extra $600. And you might go, that's not that much. But let me ask you this. If you were walking down the sidewalk, you had $600 in your wallet, would you ever open up your wallet and throw $600 on the ground and walk away from it and let other people pick it up? Heck no. Why would you do the equivalent thing to an insurance company? Why would you ever give money that you shouldn't have to give away. Yeah, just don't do that. Let us help you get the best pricing. Oh, here's one. Lincoln Heritage, fine company, I guess. First day coverage. Yeah, but look at that pricing. Ooh, mama. That pricing is much more expensive. Why is that? You know, well, Lincoln Heritage has a deal where if you pass away, or not if, you know, when everybody passes away, when you pass away, they will supposedly price shop 2 or 3 different funeral homes to, you know, get the best deal and maybe do a couple other things, but they don't do that for free. They charge for that. That's why it's $50 versus basically $35. They're $15 more a month. Let's do the math on that. $15 a month times 12 months, 1 year, that'd be an extra $180 on an annual basis. And if you are female, age 74, lives to age 84, you would end up overpaying right around $1,800 more. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth overpaying an insurance company an extra $1,800 to have them phone 2 or 3 funeral homes and do a couple other things that might only take an hour or so to do? A lot of people would say that's a great payday for the insurance company, and we would certainly agree with that. You know, why not just keep that money in your bank account rather than transferring your wealth to an insurance company's bank account? You know, it's always to your advantage to get, as long as the policies are the same, to get one that's priced better. Now, what we actually recommend you doing is keep that money, let that stay in your savings account or checking account, and let us help you get the lowest price. And then what we actually offer free of charge is a free funeral and estate planning guide. You can download that off our website. Once it's downloaded, just print it out. Once it's printed out, fill it out. You just write down who gets what and what goes where and what you want to happen after you're gone. And then keep it with your insurance policy. And then when you pass away, your family members goes to that one place where you keep that, and they will see that you not only protected them financially with the insurance, but they'll see that you protected them emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. And all they need to do is open that funeral and estate planning guide and start reading, and then just follow through and execute your wishes. And they'll know that you not only loved and protected them in life, but you actually loved and protected them in death. That one time that they would need you the most, but you weren't here, but you took care of it in advance. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. If you want to leave that legacy, reach out to us at funeralfunds.com. We've actually got a special quote for our YouTube visitors. It's going to be funeralfunds.com/YouTube. You can find the best companies, lowest prices, most discounts. Take full advantage of that so you can do some price shopping in advance. And then give us a call at 888-862-9456, and we can help you with what you actually qualify for and get you exact rates. Now, if you've got an existing insurance policy and you want us to price shop it for you to make sure you got the best deal, or you want to add coverage to that, we can help you out with that. If you need a brand new policy or you just have questions about what you might qualify for or want rates, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to helping you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with this at some point in the future. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care. You have a nice day. Bye-bye.